The door burst open without warning, and there stood Officer Ryan Caldwell, his badge gleaming under the harsh fluorescent light of my dingy motel room. I froze, completely naked, my towel crumpled on the floor where I dropped it seconds earlier after a rushed shower. His eyes widened for a split second before he composed himself, barking, "Hands where I can see them. This is a raid." In that chaotic moment, my heart pounded not just from fear, but from the inexplicable spark that ignited when our gazes locked, setting the stage for a forbidden connection neither of us saw coming. My name is Alex Rivera, a 28-year-old graphic designer who just moved to Chicago from a small town in Ohio, chasing dreams of big city success. That night, I checked into the seedy motel on the outskirts because my apartment lease hadn't started yet, and I needed a cheap place to crash. Little did I know the place was a hotspot for underground dealings, drugs mostly, and the police had been tipped off about a major bust. As Ryan cuffed me along with a dozen others in the raid, I protested my innocence, my voice shaking. "I'm just here for the night. I don't know anything about this." He didn't respond, but I caught him glancing back at me in the paddy wagon, his stern expression softening just a fraction. The precinct was a whirlwind of shouts and paperwork. I sat in a holding cell, wrapped in a scratchy blanket they'd given me, replaying the humiliation in my mind. When Ryan came to question me, he was all business at first. Name, occupation, reason for being at the motel. I answered honestly, showing him my ID and the email confirmation for my new job at a downtown ad agency. As the interrogation dragged on, something shifted. He asked about my move to Chicago, and I opened up about leaving behind a conservative family who never accepted my sexuality. "They think being gay is a phase," I said bitterly. Ryan paused, his pen hovering over the notepad. "Families can be tough," he muttered, his voice low. It was the first crack in his armor. Released without charges after they verified my story, I thought that was the end of it. But 2 days later, as I unpacked boxes in my new Wrigleyville apartment, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. "This is Officer Caldwell. Just checking if you're settling in okay." I stared at the screen, my pulse racing. Why would he call? Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him for coffee the next morning at a quiet diner near the lakefront. Ryan showed up out of uniform, in jeans and a fitted shirt that accentuated his athletic build. He was 32, with short-cropped brown hair and piercing blue eyes that seemed to see right through me. Over pancakes, he confessed the raid had rattled him too. "Seeing you like that, it wasn't just the job. It reminded me of my own secrets." As we talked, layers peeled away. Ryan had grown up in a police family in the suburbs, where being tough meant hiding any vulnerability. He'd known he was gay since high school but buried it deep, marrying his college sweetheart to fit the mold. The divorce 2 years ago had left him isolated, especially in a department where homophobia lingered like stale coffee. "Coming out could end my career," he admitted, staring into his mug. I shared my own scars, being disowned by my parents after they found out about my first boyfriend. For the first time in years, I felt seen, not judged. By the end of that coffee date, a tentative friendship bloomed, laced with an undercurrent of attraction we both ignored. Weeks turned into months, and our meetings became routine. We'd grab beers after his shifts, walk along Michigan Avenue, sharing stories of our lives. Ryan opened up about the pressure of the badge, the constant scrutiny, the fear of being outed in a macho environment. I confided in him about the loneliness of starting over in a city where hookups were easy but real connections rare. One evening, as we sat on a bench overlooking Lake Michigan, the sunset painting the sky in oranges and pinks, he turned to me. "Alex, being around you makes me question everything I've built my life on." My breath caught. Was this the start of something more? But doubt crept in. What if pursuing this meant risking his job, my safety, our fragile peace? Society's shadows loomed large. Ryan's precinct was rife with old-school cops who cracked jokes about fairies and queers. I worried about him every time he donned that uniform. Meanwhile, my new co-workers were progressive, but Chicago's streets could turn hostile. One night, After a particularly grueling shift where Ryan had to break up a bar fight involving anti-gay slurs, he showed up at my door, exhausted and raw. "I can't keep pretending," he said, collapsing onto my couch. We talked until dawn, our hands brushing accidentally, sending electric jolts through me. The tension built, but we held back, knowing one wrong move could shatter everything. Then came the first real test. My ex-boyfriend from Ohio, Mark, unexpectedly visited, claiming he wanted closure. Over dinner at a local Italian spot, Mark got drunk and confrontational, accusing me of running away from our problems. Ryan, who'd insisted on tagging along as a friend, stepped in when Mark raised his voice. "Back off," Ryan warned, his cop instincts kicking in. Mark sneered. "Who are you, his bodyguard? Or something more?" The implication hung in the air like smoke. Later, alone in my apartment, Ryan and I argued. "You can't protect me from everything," I snapped. "And what if someone sees us together?" He pulled me close, our foreheads touching. "Maybe it's time I stop hiding." That night, for the first time, we shared a kiss, tentative, charged with years of suppressed longing. Felt like coming home. But joy was short-lived. Word spread through Ryan's department about his suspicious friendship with a civilian from the raid. Whispers turned to outright harassment. One colleague left a rainbow flag on his locker with a note. "We know." Ryan brushed it off, but I saw the toll it took. At the same time, my family back home found out about us through social media. A photo I'd posted of us at a Cubs game, arms around each other platonically. My mother called hysterical. "You're dragging that poor man down with you. Think about his reputation." The guilt gnawed at me. Was I selfish for wanting this? As our relationship deepened, so did the conflicts. Ryan proposed we keep things low-key, but I pushed for more authenticity. "I won't be your secret," I told him during a heated dinner at his place. He slammed his fork down. "You think it's easy? I could lose my pension, my friends, everything." Tears welled in his eyes, mirroring my own frustration. That argument ended in reconciliation, but the cracks were showing. Society's expectations weighed heavy. The ideal cop was straight, strong, unyielding. Our love challenged that narrative, sparking debates in our own minds about sacrifice and identity. One weekend, we escaped to a cabin in Wisconsin, hoping for respite. Amid the pine trees and crackling fire, we allowed ourselves vulnerability. Ryan shared childhood memories of his father's disapproval, how he joined the force to prove his manhood. I confessed my fear of abandonment, rooted in past rejections. In those quiet moments, our bond strengthened, but reality intruded via a frantic call from his partner. "Internal affairs is sniffing around. Something about your personal life." Panic set in. Was this the end? Back in Chicago, the pressure mounted. Ryan's superiors called him in for a chat, hinting at rumors that could derail his promotion. "We need officers who represent family values," they said vaguely. Devastated, he confided in me. "Maybe we should take a break." My world shattered. "Is that what you want? To cave to their bigotry?" We fought like never before, words cutting deep. In the heat of it, I stormed out, wandering the streets, questioning if love was worth the pain. Days blurred into a haze of missed calls and regret. I threw myself into work, designing campaigns for LGBTQ rights groups, channeling my hurt into advocacy. Ryan patrolled the city, his mind elsewhere, second-guessing every decision. Then, fate intervened. During a routine traffic stop, he pulled over a young gay couple harassed by homophobes. Seeing their fear mirrored his own, something snapped. He reported the incident, advocating for better training on LGBTQ issues, risking backlash. Word of his stance spread, dividing the department. Some colleagues supported him quietly, others ostracized him. When he showed up at my door that night, rain-soaked and determined, he declared, "I'm done hiding. I want to fight for us, for everyone like us." We embraced, tears mixing with rain, but uncertainty lingered. Could we navigate this storm? The climax hit when Ryan's story leaked to the local news. A reporter, tipped off anonymously, published an article, Chicago cop comes out amid department turmoil. Protests erupted. Supporters rallied outside the precinct with signs reading, "Love is not a crime," while detractors shouted slurs. My phone blew up with messages from family and friends, some condemning, others applauding. In the midst of chaos, Ryan was suspended pending investigation, accused of conduct unbecoming. I stood by him, attending hearings where lawyers debated policy and prejudice. Testimonies poured in, victims of hate crimes praising his empathy, bigots decrying the woke agenda. Our relationship became a symbol, sparking citywide debates on police reform and LGBTQ rights. One night, as we lay in bed, whispers of doubt crept in. "What if this destroys us?" I asked. Ryan held me tight. "Then we rebuild together." But rebuilding wasn't easy. Ryan's suspension dragged on, straining our finances and emotions. I took on extra freelance work, while he volunteered at a queer youth center, finding purpose beyond the badge. Old wounds reopened. My parents disinvited me from holidays, calling our love unnatural. Ryan's ex-wife reached out, supportive but reminding him of the life he'd left. Jealousy flared when I saw him laughing with a volunteer, leading to another argument. "Do you regret choosing me?" I demanded. "Never," he replied, but his eyes betrayed exhaustion. Society's mirror reflected our struggles. Friends hosted a fundraiser for his legal fees, turning our personal drama into a community cause. Yet, backlash intensified. Anonymous threats, vandalized cars. We installed security cameras, living in paranoia. Through it all, our love evolved, forged in fire. We attended therapy, learning to communicate beyond passion, addressing insecurities head-on. As the investigation concluded, Ryan was reinstated with a warning, but the department mandated diversity training, a small victory. We celebrated quietly, toasting to resilience, but scars remained. At a pride event, we walked hand in hand, cheers drowning out jeers, symbolizing progress amid persistent hate. In the end, our story wasn't a fairy tale but a testament to choice. Ryan chose authenticity over conformity. I chose forgiveness over fear. Yet, as we built a life together, questions lingered about the cost. Was Ryan's decision to come out, risking his career and our safety, ultimately the right one?